Alright, so this is target 3B. 3B talks about verifying the relationship between points on the line and the equation. So again, we are using what we know already. Coordinate points, always remember that they start as X and Y, no matter what. Okay, so just keep in mind. For the number 1, it says, which of the following is a solution to the linear function fx plus 7y equals 61? Alright, so they're telling you which of these coordinate points is going to be the solution for this equation. Which one will give me to be this statement be true, right? So we need to plug in points. And yes, you have to plug in all of them to figure out the answer. So I always want to start with the first one because you never know, you find the answer in the very first try. All right, all you have to do is plug in the points for x and the y. You already know the number. What is x? -5. What is y? -2. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. 5 times -5 plus 7, -2 equals 61. I didn't change anything. I used the same equation. All I did was plug in my numbers for x and y. All right, all I have to do is math. 5 times -5 gives me -25. Plus 7 times -2 gives me -14 equals 61. In order for this to be a solution, this side has to equal 61. If it does not equal 61, then it's not true. Well, -25 plus -14 gives me -39. Is this true? -39 equals 61? No. So therefore, this coordinate point is not a solution. All right, I move to the next one, or I could pick whatever I want. For this time, I'll jump to C, because you never know. Okay, I just have to figure out my answer. Well, all I'm going to do again, plug in my points. What's x? What's y? Well, x is 8 plus 7 times 3 equals 61. Again, if that point does not match, I have to go to the next one and the next one until I figure out my answer. All right, 5 times 8 gives me 40. 7 times 3 gives me 21. And remember, it has to equal 61. 40 plus 21 gives me 61. So is this true? 61 equals 61? Yes. So my answer is letter C. Coordinate point 8, 3. Again, like I said, didn't match. I'll have to go to the next coordinate point. All right, can you guys try number 2, please? All right, number 3 is the same thing. Which table of values can be used to graph the function y equals -3x plus 5? You need to match the the data table with the function. All right, well, what do I know about my function? Remember, y equals mx plus b. Okay, m means slope, b means y-intercept. Based on my equation, I already know my y-intercept. It has to be 5. And how do I find the y-intercept in the table? And you guys should remember this. When x equals 0, I'm going to find my y-intercept. All right, that means that I need x of 0 and y of 5, right? Because when x equals 0, I'm supposed to have 5. All right, which of these tables has 0 and 5? Well, x are on this side, the y's are on this side, right? All right, x of 0, 0 and 3 does not match. 0 and 5, this one matches. 0 and 5, this one matches. 0 and 5, this one matches. And 0 and -3, this one doesn't match. All right, so far I have my answers in one of these 3 tables. All right, the next thing you should do is whatever you did in problem number 1 and 2. Plug in numbers. You already know what x is. You already know what y is. All you have to do is plug into the equation. I have y equals -3x plus 5. Right? Notice how all the x have -1. Right? Nothing changes. So if I was to put -1 for x, my y should equal either 2, 8, or -2. Which one is going to be right? You still don't know what y is. Well, let's solve it. -3 times -1 gives me +3. Remember, two negatives become positive. So it's +3 plus 5. It gives me 8. So my y has to equal 8. Which of the tables has y of 8? C. So C is my answer. Alright, can you guys try the next one for me? Alright, number 4 and 6, they're pretty easy. All we have to do is read the graph and understand it. And it says, if Giselle drove 30 miles, well, where are miles? Miles are on my x values. On the y, I have gallons of gas. Alright, it says, if Giselle drove 30 miles, how much gas will be left in the tank? Well, 30 miles. 30 miles are on the bottom. Where's 30? 30 is right here. Alright, so there you go. That means that I'm going to have 4 gallons. 4 gallons of gas left. Alright, number 6. If Carmen drove 40 miles, how much gas will be left in the tank? Again, miles are at the bottom. That means that here's 40. Here's my line. So that's about going to be 1.5 gallons of gas. Pretty easy, right? All you have to do is understand the graph, read it, get the answer. We're not really doing any math in this one. All right, next, number 7. All right, number 7 gets a little bit tricky, okay? It says determine the linear equation, and again, linear equation means what? Y equals mx plus b. So we need to write our equation based on the following pair they gave you. All right, notice how it says show your work. You must show everything. Well, what's the first thing you should know about your equation? Is the slope. How do I find slope? With 2 points, and I do y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, right? Right, hopefully you remember this. All you have to do is pick 2 points. I'm always going to pick the very first two. If the very first two do not work, go to the next 2 points. All right, but for this one, I'm using the first two. All right, the very first point is x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so y2 is -40 minus -38. Don't forget that it's a minus, and even though the next number is negative, you have to put it in parentheses. Don't forget it's minus in the middle. All right, over 24 minus 23. Okay, all I have to do is solve it. -40 minus -38 gives me -2. 24 minus 23 gives me 1, so my slope is -2. All right, so far I know my slope. How do I find my y-intercept? Well, I have said that with the y-intercept, you can only find them when you have a table, right? And when we have a graph. But we don't have a table or a graph, but we do have an equation. I do know the slope, and I already know my x and y values if I pick one of the points. Since I picked the very first 2 points for my slope, I'm still gonna pick one of them. I'm gonna pick the first one, okay? And again, the coordinate points is always x and y. All right, well, I'm using my equation, mx plus b. I already know y. Y is -38. What is my m? M is -2. -2 times x. X equals 23 plus b. All right, all we have to do is solve it now. -2 times 23 gives me -46 plus b. I'm solving for b, don't forget. So if I'm solving for b, I need b by itself. So that means I have to get rid of that -46. How do I get rid of it? by doing the opposite. So I'm gonna add 46. Whatever you do to one side, you're gonna do it to the next side. So my B is gonna be 8. Well, don't I have enough information to write my equation? Yes. I have y equals m, which is negative 2x plus 8. Alright, so then there you go. I have my linear equation. So in this one, you have to find the slope, then plug in points to find b, then write my linear equation. Can you guys try number 8? Alright, we're almost done with the notes. Alright, so number 9, it says consider the equation y equals negative 3x plus 2. Identify the y-intercept and the slope, then graph the line on the coordinate plane below. Well, this one's easy. We already know how to find the y-intercept, remember? Y equals mx plus b. My b represents the y-intercept, y represents the b here. 2. My slope is negative 3. Because I do have to graph this, remember, I have to remember what is rise over run. I need to know how I'm going to move up and down, left and right. So, obviously, negative 3 has an imaginary 1. Why? Because negative 3 over 1 gives me negative 3. It's the same thing. I just add the 1 so I know how many spaces I'm going to move to the right or left. All right, you always start with the y-intercept. How do I know the y-intercept? When x equals 0, your y-intercept is 2. This is my very first point. This is where I start. The slope tells me you're going to move down 3 because it's negative. So I'm moving down 3. 1, 2, 3, and over to the right because it's positive 1. So this is my second point. You always need 3 points. And again, from this point, I move down 3. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Once you have 3 points, all you have to do is connect your line. Okay? And that's what we're doing for this one. So, pretty easy because you already know what the y-intercept and the slope is. All you have to do is graph it. Here's try number 10. Alright, the very last problem. Okay, there's 2 steps. Well, the first one, you need to check the y-intercept. Okay, if you can't check the y-intercept, your second step will be check the slope. Alright, and what do I mean by that? Well, they give us the equation here. They told us, does the graph represent the equation? So it doesn't match the graph. Why or why not? Okay, the very first thing I told you, check the y-intercept. What is y-intercept on this one? Is negative 10. Does my graph go all the way to negative 10, which will be somewhere down here? Does my graph go all the way to negative 10? No. Can I assume that my line is going to pass through the y-intercept? No, I don't have enough information. So I cannot check the y-intercept. Moving to step 2. It says check the slope. What is my slope? My slope is 4. And remember, I need to know how I'm moving left and right. So it has an imaginary 1 on the bottom. Alright, so from the point that they give me, it tells me that I'm going to move up 4 because it's positive and over to the right 1 because it's positive. Let's say if that's true. 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1. That is true. What about the next point? 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1. That is true. So I found that the slope is right. So the graph matches the equation because of the slope And that's it. Just remember that when you told me if it matches or if not matches, you have to tell me which one did you check. Did you check the y-intercept? Did you check the slope? So make sure you write it down. Okay, guys, try number 12. And we are done with target 3B notes.